All right, we're on the air, and this is one of the great episodes of the season. 1 minute, episode 7. And this episode, we really can't skip around that much because a lot happens in this episode. So let's start at the beginning with the kid cousins. We got introduced to the kid cousins, which is a really awesome scene, and we see Hector talking to someone, and he absolutely hates Gus. He refers to him as the chicken man, and that's the only person we know. It's Gus. It has to be Gus. So he's talking to, I'm guessing, the Dawn that we see in season 4.
Probably so. And, you know, the two brothers, they're playing, and one of them is teasing the other. He's got a little action figure, and he's holding it up, and he's teasing him with it. And then the one goes over to the uncle and says, "You know, he's got my toy. He won't give it back to me. I wish he was dead." You know, and the uncle
cousin breaks the toy, and he wished that he was dead. And I'm like, "Oh my God, what the hell is going on next?" And then that's when Hector calls him over, and basically tries to kill him.
Tries to drown him in the cold
in the beer water. The old ice water cooler.
And you notice now the episode 1 minute actually takes on more than one meaning, because Tito is drowning the boy. He says, "Do you think how long can he hold out? 1 minute, perhaps?"
Yeah, I know. I caught that, and that was really great. And there's that 1 minute, and there's the 1 minute where Hank has before the cousins come.
Right. So,
which is really awesome because 1 minute was mentioned during the cousins both times.
Yes, it was.
So this is why Breaking Bad is awesome. But yeah, so Hector tries to drown one of the cousins, and the cousin basically punched Hector in the mouth and got him to stop. And I think that's what Hector wanted to do. Hector wanted to make, tough people out of these boys.
Oh yeah. He tells them family is all. I think that's what he said.
Yeah. But hurry up, Ellen. Hurry up, Ellen. I know you've got a lot to pun in this episode, especially with Skyler. But yeah, so right after that teaser, Hank is pissed. Hank basically goes to Jesse's. He's pissed off. He beats the living hell out of him. And
he does.
After he regrets it. He knows that after he beats him up, he's basically putting his job in jeopardy.
Yeah. I mean, he did a number on Jesse too, man. I mean, had a swollen eye, and he had bruises all over his face.
Man, Jesse gets down a lot in Breaking Bad.
Yeah. And then we see Saul in the hospital taking a picture of Jesse's face.
Yeah, that was funny. Congratulations, you're the new Ringo. You're the new good-looking one in this group.
Yeah, that was cool. Saul was dressed ever so fashionably in that jogging suit.
Yeah, and he still has that little badge from 747 on. Which is great. Visual stuff on that. But yeah.
Wayfarer 515.
Oh yeah, just wait till 515. That's a good one.
Yeah. Wayfarer 515. Yeah.
No, it's 747. Wayfarer 747.
It's 515. Wayfarer 515. Remember?
Oh yeah, that is. But what about 747?
I guess that's what plane it was.
Anyway, hurry up, Ellen.
Anyway.
Yeah, hurry up, Ellen. But so Walt at this point is nervous and scared because Jesse may rat Walt out because of this.
There she is.
We go. Here's Ellen.
How are you guys?
Hey, Ellen, can you hear me?
Hey!
First
hey, Ellen.
time. First try. Hi, Henry.
Yeah, we went on ahead and started without you. We talked about the cousins in the beginning.
I loved watching these commentaries. This was great stuff. And finding those kids. the story about them is they needed twins. So they looked in Albuquerque and they found, well, they needed boys, but they found these twins. And Michelle McLaren was the director of this, so she was really involved. And she was nominated for an Emmy for this episode, by the way. Anyway, she showed them the picture of the guys they had to be, and they were concerned that they had to shave their heads. And she was like, no, you don't have to do that. And then she showed them the explosion in the truck. And they thought that was so cool. So they got the job. That is a fantastic scene for so many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
X-Files connection in that scene too.
Yes.
Do you know?
Yes, I do know.
What is it, Shane?
Hector was in the X-Files, right? Maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Tell me.
The actual phone. Apparently, it was used in the X-Files for a flashback of Mulder, who had this big ass cell phone or portable phone, I don't know, cordless, whatever it was.
Yeah, the cell phone. Those big 80s cell phones they had.
They got their hands on that.
Awesome. Another X-Files. Aaron Paul is going to be in an X-File in an upcoming episode I'm watching. Yeah, Aaron Paul was in the X-Files. Bryan Cranston was in the X-Files. Dean Norris was a U.S. Marshal in the X-Files.
And the X-Files original.
Yes, in the original X-Files.
Aaron Paul?
Aaron Paul was in the X-Files.
Did he play a baby?
No, he played a teenager trying to be on Jackass.
Wow.
The TV show Jackass, yes. And Jane Lynch played his mom.
Jane Lynch.
Oh.
From Glee.
From the show Glee, yeah. Yeah.
If you've seen Ricky Bobby, she played his mom. But
I just learned today that both Dean Norris and Bryan Cranston were in Little Miss Sunshine. And I saw that movie a long time ago. It's you watch it once kind of movie. But yeah, they were both in it. And Dean, of course, plays a cop.
Dean Norris played a U.S. Field Marshal in the X-Files.
Yep. He's always law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was the episode Paper Hearts. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but, Alan, we were talking about how, Hank got pissed and he went to Jesse's house and beat the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Which has consequences for him later on down the road on this episode.
Yeah, it does. Major consequences, really.
Got me thinking a lot, because, I've been saying that Hank and Walt are on either side of the same coin. The meth is their business, their ego is their drive, and it keeps them going, gives them something to do. But there's this episode, Hank parts ways because he does the right thing. Now, you know how we were talking about, well, you create a bad situation, then what are you supposed to do? Create another bad situation to cover that one and that one and that one?
Yeah.
And they were talking about how Hank is actually given some chances between, like, the guys at work and even Marie to, fudge it or just say he came after you, and...
Oh, yes.
Hank
Marie wanted to Hank to lie.
Right.
And Hank couldn't do that.
Even internally, it was like, Hank, you don't have to do this. And he did the right thing. I mean, this could have.
I love what Hank said.
And put him in prison. It could have.
So, I love what Hank said. He said when he was dressed up, Marie said, "You look nice." He said, "I look like a TV weatherman."
Oh, and those two in this episode, they're like one of the. They have an enviable marriage. They do. They, and there's that scene in the elevator where, they have their breakdown together, and then the doors open, and which is kind of funny, but just really, really sweet and enviable that they have this relationship. And Dean even said that this is about marital love for him, which is he said is actually different than romantic love. Romantic love is more like, hey, things are always good, right? Right? They're always good. And this is things are not always good, but we're always, we've always got each other's backs. They are great.
Yeah.
They are great.
Yeah.
And they talked about how the scenes like that, they don't use music.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't use music on that. It made it so more emotional without the music.
I think so.
And Dave Porter was in this. Dave Porter talks a lot, and the philosophy about their music is don't use it if you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Use it really sparingly. Like they said, if you print too much money, the value goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when they do, there's so many shows that use the same kind of thing for every kind of situation, like dun 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 dun, or
they use the same score on every different show.
And you could be in another room without seeing it, without hearing the dialogue, but you can tell by the music. Oh, suspense. Oh, light and funny, or happy, or whatever. But yeah. They said in this episode they use a little more music.
Mm-hmm.
But for those scenes, it seems to me like the scenes you were talking about, Ellen. It seems to me like less was more. That's what they wanted. They wanted less is more. They didn't want the music, but they wanted the scene to mean more, so they didn't put any music in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the characters carried it.
Mm-hmm.
But when it came to something like the big shootout.
Oh yeah, you got to have the music for that. Yeah.
And Dave Porter has a special palette of sounds for them, and lighting and Steadicam, and he actually, it was interesting because he wrote it to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like they edited it, put it in the sequence that they wanted, and he wrote to it, and it was. Once they tell you, because I don't know, maybe this is just me, but these kinds of elements go over my head. I don't think about them. I'm paying more attention to dialogue and action.
Yeah.
And I'm not aware that there's some music trying to manipulate me to feel something at this point. Mm-hmm. And then when you start listening to what he puts together, it's just fantastic.
It is.
Yeah, it really is. And one thing we see in this episode, we see this truck sitting out in the middle of nowhere, and we see this vehicle pull up to it, an old-timey type vehicle, like a classic car. We see the twins get out, they go to the truck, and there's a guy in the back. He's I guess it must be an illegal gun runner. Yeah, it would have to be.
Thank you.
Can I say that this is one of the most funniest characters ever? He talks about this woman that likes to get peed on. I'm like, oh my god.
My god, yeah.
Oh my god. How do you come up with that?
And the question was raised, who came up with that? And the first guess was Vince Gilligan. But which is funny because they always blame that stuff on him. But it was Tom Schnauz, the very good friend with whom this idea came up, and who wrote this episode. That was his sick idea. But funny. And you know what? The best line of his was, "Science is a mystery."
Yeah. Science is a mystery.
I just thought that was kind of, I don't know, maybe an oxymoron.
And he shows the cousins those bullets, those they're like black talons almost.
The hollow out bullet, which plays
the hollowed out bullet
plays foreshadowing in this.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
And then they said, "You have any vests?" They said, "Oh yeah, I got vests. Hell yeah, I got vests." He shows them the vests, and he shoots the guy in the chest because he's wearing one. Because he revealed, he said, "Never leave home without it." Mm-hmm. They showed him like, "What the hell? You son of a bitch! You broke my ribs."
You know what? I'm surprised they didn't kill the guy after this.
I know. They let him live.
Yeah,
they let him live.
The same thing. I wondered about that.
It's like they peel the money off and they drop it on his chest and they walk out.
They could have killed him and take the money back.
They could have.
But they're very businesslike with this murder because, you kill people as you need to. Mm-hmm. This guy, they didn't care that he saw them. Because this guy was just they just weren't afraid. You know, he's doing his own illegal thing. So other people they've killed just to not leave witnesses or for whatever other reason. But they will, they will screw up. All of these great bad guys always they fail sometimes when they put emotion in a kill that they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, no, muy fácil with the gun. I'm not going to shoot you. I need the axe.
Mm-hmm.
Mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, and we see other great bad guys make that kind of mistake.
Too easy.
Yep.
Fazio, too easy. Yes.
Yeah, but we'll get to that climax.
Yes, we will. Oh, yeah.
But what's interesting to me was that Skyler was worried about her husband getting in trouble.
Her intuition is right, again. You know, she's putting all this together. Jesse Pinkman, you know, she knows about him and the pot. But by now she knows that Walt's cooking meth. So, by the way, that condo is was Vince Gilligan's condo. I don't know if he still rents or owns it in Albuquerque, but that's his condo. But she's all over that. And whatever it is, she doesn't even want to know the details.
Mm-hmm.
You know Jesse Pinkman. Talk to him. Get him to, you know, drop the charges. And, you know, she's looking out for her family, and she's hoping that Walt will help. And he kind of coldly says that, well, we're not family anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
He signed the papers, but they're not filed, and he doesn't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which struck me odd was that Skyler was actually worried, but I think it was probably more of Walt Jr.'s. More of the reason because of Walt Jr.
Yeah,
because if it wasn't with Walt Jr., I think she would not care if Jesse rat him out.
The RV.
I think so.
She knew about the RV. She wondered about that. And yeah, first of all, her #1 job is to keep Walt's secret a secret.
Mm-hmm.
And she's right to be worried because he does make some mistakes. It's always two minds are better than one. And by him not filling in some of the details, she can't help him. But she wants to make sure that he doesn't get found out and that maybe Hank can get out of this because, you know, he's a good man overall who did a bad thing. And I don't know. But yeah, they said that plants the seed for what Walt is going to set up now.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another motivation. There's another motivation to put him in. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. We essentially see Hank going in front of the firing squad, as it were. I mean, he has to go. He has to, you know, ask questions, and they have to question him, and they have to, you know, conduct a full investigation. Yes. They take a picture of his hand, you know, with the injury or where he leaves, and they decide to suspend him without pay. I mean, no, suspend him with pay. I'm sorry.
No, it was without. I think it was without. Alan?
I think you're right. I think it was without pay.
That's a question for the great Google.
It was an indefinite suspension. They didn't know when they were going to bring him back. They had to turn over his badge and his gun.
Mm-hmm.
Now that kind of makes me wonder, where did he get the gun after after the twins, you know, shot him, or after Marco shot him?
It was theirs.
Yeah, it was Marco.
That was their gun.
That was their gun, yeah. He used their gun to shoot him.
Ah, okay.
You didn't catch that?
I don't know. I thought maybe Hank had an extra gun or something like that.
You see what happened when Hank was driving in reverse to get one of the cousins. He drops the gun in the back of the secret car.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the magic bullet gets dropped. That one bullet, the sample.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Oh, I can't wait to that one. But before we get to that, Jesse really wanted Hank to pay for his actions. That was
great stuff. God. And they rave about Aaron Paul's acting every time they go through these because he is so good.
And Walt goes to see Jesse. He realizes that Gail is not working out.
No. Back up.
Gail, I think that was a plan. I think Walt just needed something to get rid of Gail.
He set him up.
He set him up.
Mm-hmm. Gail was fine. Gail was great. Gail knows a hell of a lot more about this than Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
But he needs to give Jesse a job to, keep from having to kill him. Remember that idea got floated. Again, let's, and to see if he'll drop the charges against Hank.
Mm-hmm.
$1.5 million as a lure, and plus he threatened Walt. I'm gonna go cook, and if the cops ever come to me, I'm gonna get out of it by giving up you.
The great Heisenberg, yes.
Yeah, and basically Walt needed to do something, and that something is to get rid of Gail and put Jesse in his place.
And Gail was fine, and Walt set him up, gave him the wrong number. And proved it by the sludge that was that batch. And I thought, wow, now this isn't going to be the first time that Walt actually fucks with somebody's mind, like, where you think that you are thinking is rationally, that you're there. And then all of a sudden you find out that you're losing it. That has got to be frightening. He'll do this again.
Yeah.
Gail thought it was 75, and Walt says no, 85.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. It didn't hit me, Ellen, until just now that it was a setup. It did not hit me till just now because Gail knew, and Gail was, Gail is a chemistry, that's his specialty. It's his degree.
Mm-hmm. But you have to, sit back and realize that Gail is a pawn in Gus's plan. What Gus wants to do is to have Gail get the formula off of Walt and kill off Walt and just have Gail make the meth. And I think Walt is realizing that, which is why he set him up.
I'm not even sure. Do you think that Gus is still making that plan? Because at first it was the cartel wanted Walt. But they wanted Walt for Tuco's murder, and now they've got Hank. So is Walt even on their radar anymore? Does it matter? Or does it matter only later because Walt's vibe to Gus is that Walt would feel a lot more comfortable without Gus on this earth. And that's why he's going to have to go. Do you think that he's still...
That is
right
a good
now,
question. That's a good Henry. Can you help me out here?
Walt goes to see Jesse in the hospital, and Jesse's like, essentially, he's offering Jesse, half, 50-50, $1.5 million. Jesse's like, no, I'm not turning down the money. I'm turning down you. Mm-hmm. Because ever since I've met you, my life has just gone to complete shit.
Yeah. And I like how you tiptoed around Ellen's question.
But I don't know. That's interesting. I'm sure Walt had a plan to placate Jesse, to try to get rid of Gail. It's like, Gail, this isn't working out. He wanted Jesse back because he was trying to pacify Jesse into not ratting on him.
Mm-hmm.
and dropping the charges against Hank.
And to be fair, I think, we watch these, especially if you just watch it once and then you go on to the next one, there's so many details that I thought, oh, okay, Gail's messing up. Like, maybe the first time I watched it, or by now, I don't know how many times I've watched each episode, so I keep learning things each time. But yeah, that was that timing is perfect. And that even before the mistake is discovered, Walt is very cold with Gail.
Yeah.
In that scene down there.
Yeah. After he said, "Is everything checked off?" Gail is like, "Yep, everything's done." And I think that pissed Walt pretty off bad.
Mm-hmm.
And if you realize, Gail, he's starting to dress like Walt.
I didn't notice that.
You didn't notice that he was wearing the checkered shirt, the pants, the shoes. He's like, "Where's your open-toed shoes at? Where's your sandals at?" And he's like, "You know, I went to today."
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Walt did ask him that. Yeah.
Poor Gail. Walt is his hero.
He is. He is.
Yeah, it's a shame.
But this is all we got a lot of shout out to Rocky here because Saul says to Jesse, "Yo, Adrian." Rocky called. He wants his face back.
Yeah.
And
the Beatles.
In Rocky, there's a scene where Burgess Meredith is basically like Walt offering Rocky, and Rocky's like goes on a tirade. And it goes off on him like F you, and then, then eventually they're back together again.
Yeah.
Changes his mind.
I think the phrase that Walt said is that your meth is as good as mine. I think that's what lured Jesse back, because he wanted someone to tell him that, yes, you are doing good.
Yeah.
I think it helped. I think the big phrase was $1.5 million.
Because Jesse called him back and was like, yeah, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, because Jesse, he does this over and over again. He comes to the realization that Walt is manipulating him. Yeah. And he actually takes a stand, and then Walt just kind of goes, brrr, and Jesse's like, "Oh, Daddy." He just keeps doing it because this is a guy who doesn't really have parental love, role. He just.
We've seen Jesse's parents, and oh my God.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't understand why, but I just don't like them.
No.
No, you can tell that. Yeah.
They seem a little odd to me.
Jesse was always the screw-up of the family. He was always the one that they always had problems with, and he was the big screw-up, and they couldn't deal with him.
So they had another kid.
He's looking for that approval. Jesse's looking for that approval from somebody, from like a father figure. That's Walt.
Yeah, Walt is Jesse's father figure.
There's a lot, I think, in a lot of cases, the first kid is the practice one. And it's kind of like, I don't know, just imagine you're at a shooting range. You got no bullseyes. It's all like all over the place. And that's you. And then, your little brother or sister comes along and everything's much perfect.
You don't think that Jesse was the mistake of the one? You don't think it was like some one-night stand that they had and they just had to have Jesse and they just, pawn him off on somebody and they had another kid which was more acceptable to the parents?
I just think there's this fake kind of lovey thing going on. It's so weird. They're more concerned with outward appearances and trying to be like the Cleavers or something. It's like almost robotic, devoid of emotion.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a bond. And then Jesse, apparently, I mean, we know he's smart, and we know he had some talents, and he had artistic talents, and it just seemed like he wasn't making his parents happy.
Well, if we try to compare Jake with Jesse, you don't think their parents, Jesse's parents, just try to raise Jake the same way they did Jesse, but it's not working?
Differently. They're way different with this one. They're way more involved.
Mm-hmm.
They're making sure he pursues his interests. They're playing classical music at dinner time. They're trying to do things differently. They're trying not to make the same mistakes. But still, the kid, Jake, feels like he's not the favorite. Have we seen this? Yeah, we saw this.
Yeah, we've seen this. It's in season 2.
Yeah. All they ever do is talk about you. Sometimes the bad one gets all the attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually often a motivation for kids to act out.
Well, we saw Jesse take the fall for Jake because of that marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
That was a surprise when that happened.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Because that was actually Jake's marijuana joint.
Mm-hmm.
But Jesse was like, Jesse's like, I'm taking the fall for my brother.
Yeah.
And crushes it and said, it was skunk weed anyway.
Which seems to me that he's looking up to his brother, but in the bad way.
Yeah.
Maybe?
I think so.
I don't know that he looks up to him at all. He doesn't seem impressed by anything Jesse has to say. I think he's a kid who's just going to try weed. I mean, like, welcome to adolescence. They're so far apart. I can say, I've seen this happen where when there's a lot of years between siblings, it's like having different parents altogether.
Mm-hmm.
It's like different childhood, different decade, different everything. And your sibling and you see a way different parent.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do things right with Jake. Space camp, they wanted to send him to.
Oh my God.
I have a feeling Jesse was one of those. They were just like, go off and play, be good. Don't bother us.
I was glad that Jesse screwed over his own parents because of that house. I was so glad.
But you know what? He didn't really screw him over. He made sure they got the money back they put into it.
Mm-hmm.
That was maybe white of him, I thought. Here's the money that you put into it, and now it's mine.
Yeah.
Well, see, sometimes there's a gap between siblings. My sister and I we're only 6 years apart. So, but sometimes if there's the older child who is like 20 years old by the time they have a baby brother or baby sister. I think
Jake is probably in middle school and Jesse's just like in his 20s.
I'm gonna say that there is a decade. There's got to be a decade there.
At least, yeah.
I think Jesse was born probably in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and then Jake was probably late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I got one 12 years younger than me, another one 13 years younger than me. Way different experiences, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know how we can transition to that because of this epic climax at the end.
Oh, yes, let's get to that, yes.
And
they had a lot of problems with that one because, and there was this thing where they were actually trying to make it an actual minute of Hank freaking out after he got the call. And I did the stopwatch thing, and as soon as he said you have 1 minute, I hit start. And it seemed like it was closer to 2 minutes by the time he actually sees the guys that are going after him. But it was, when they talked about how it was shot, and this is why Michelle MacLaren was nominated as Best Director for this episode. The angles,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
The axe scraping, it was, and it's so interesting because they had all these problems, including a freak snowstorm and having to shoot a different day and
Wow.
losing the parking lot and having to do a different
Wow.
parking lot to not being able to actually move the SUV. So when Hank is backing up, it's not moving, but it sure that as hell looks like it's moving.
Wow.
Wow, really? I'm so glad you got the commentary version of this.
Yeah.
I know. See, Ellen gives us all these little insider tips.
Because I got it. Like, yeah, it's cool. The DVDs, you know. Um, yeah, that was one of the most memorable scenes, and these guys were waiting because they knew they were going to be doing a shootout scene, and it kept getting pushed back to another later episode, and they're like, oh my god, and and then they find out, Tom Schnauz finds out he gets to write it, and Michelle McLaren finds out she gets to direct this, and Dave Porter's like, oh my god, the music. They are so pumped up, and when they go through that scene, Dean Norris, all of a sudden, he is so excited.
Yeah.
He loves that angle and this and that and the other, and it was freezing out cold, and they had him on the ground in January, and
man.
yeah. And the woman who runs screaming, I thought this was funny. Michelle yells cut, but the woman's screaming so loud she can't hear her, so she's running and screaming.
Yeah, they killed the guy. I think it was by accident, really. It startled one of the cousins, and he shoots the guy. The woman screaming, it startles him, tries to shoot her, but he ran out of ammo.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, I mean, you had Hank in his vehicle. All of a sudden, he gets the call, and we find out later that was Gus.
It was Gus.
But why?
Vince says we assume it's probably Gus.
Oh, it was Gus.
I'm like, really? Yeah, I think so.
It was Gus. Because if that
directly, was that him?
Mm.
Or did he have somebody else use that voice mangler thing?
Well, it's a conflict between Gus and Tyrus. Or maybe even Victor.
I think maybe even Mike.
I don't know. I don't think Mike would have known. I don't think Gus would have told Mike that a DEA was
no. Mike, it wasn't Mike. I don't think it was Mike.
I mean, if it was Mike, I think Mike would have been there and protect Hank himself.
Yes, he would have.
But the word definitely came down from Gus, because he was the one to give him up.
Yeah.
But
I don't... But
he didn't know that just then Hank lost his gun.
No.
Plus, wow, what a badass that makes Hank to get out of that alive.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
But, why did Gus, if it was Gus, why did he call Hank to warn him?
Because if Hank dies, then the cartel would have known what was going on, and the cartel would have been for Gus, after Gus. Because they said DEA is off limits. If a DEA dies, they will find out it was Gus. Gus will probably die.
Oh. But yet Gus was the one that set the twins on Hank, though.
Mm-hmm.
Get them off of Walt, because Hank really pulled. He shot the death blow there.
Yeah, the awesome death scene, which is great. I mean, you see the guy's head getting blown off. I mean, that was just awesome.
Yeah. That was a good angle they shot it at, too, where he was shooting up, and we see the blood go right out the back of the head.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn!
And the blood, and then the blood just comes on the camera or something, and this ends it right there. And you hear the car horn.
Yeah. That is a jarring noise.
It is. And it played out through the whole shootout, which is fantastic, and I love that.
And I was just having a conversation, not related to Breaking Bad, about noxious noises and how they can be real irritants. And they can psychologically just crawl under our skin. And then, if it's something that you've been subjected to for a long time, and then you don't hear it for a long time, then you hear it again. It just puts you in, because you can't have mental peace with some certain noises, and that is a jarring one.
Yeah, it is.
And Dean Norris just loved that. He loved the whole thing, and it reminded him of Tio's bell going at the end of that episode.
At the end, yeah, that was great too.
Oh, wait till we get to that one. Oh my God.
Oh, we did. No, back in
season 2, when
I'm talking about the last episode of season 4.
Oh, Face Off.
Yeah. Yes, Face Off. Wait till we get to that one. Oh my God.
God.
Epic episode.
It is. Yeah. It was amazing.
But we saw Hank in the vehicle. He's instinctively reaching for his gun. He realizes, oh crap, it's not here. I don't have my gun. So when the guy
his hands on the steering wheel, he looks so vulnerable. They're bare.
Yeah, he does.
Just flesh, and that's all he's got. And yeah, it was just so well done, so tense, and that music, and where he's doing it, like Hank's looking around, and the sounds Dave Porter's using are kind of like, is that a person is that a person after me? And and it just increases in intensity, and once those guys are coming for him and he knows it, it's back to
the whole scene with Hank being paranoid is sort of reminds me of a later episode where Jesse is paranoid because he thinks Walt has some guys coming after him in late in season 5.
Yeah.
Jesse being paranoid because he thinks, really, in season 5?
Remember when when Jesse was getting Walt to be set up by Hank and Gomi, he gets on the phone with Walt, and Walt.
Oh.
And they meet. And
every bald guy.
The big bald. Yes, exactly.
Clock tower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ding, ding. But one thing that was interesting is, Hank has 2 meetings. There's the first one, and then there's the next one in the same room the next morning with the investigators coming in. And they did what they call block shooting, which Dean apparently hates. And this is when they're using 3 camera angles. They shoot one side of the table, the other side of the table, and then another one going kind of down the table to where everybody's sitting. And because they were limited on time, instead of moving the camera with the scenes, like we do the scene, okay, I'm going to go over here now, they did, okay, so they focus on one, there's Dean Norris. Dean Norris has to do both of these scenes together, like one line from one line from another, one line from one, different emotions, different looks, different position in his chair or whatever. It was a really crazy way of doing it. Then they did the other side of the table, then they did the straight on, and then in editing, they patch it all together to make it a continuous conversation. And it's supposed to be faster, but it's so much harder for the actor, and it was an interesting talk about that. Dean's like, thanks a lot, Michelle, but because it's one thing to get into one scene with the knowledge that you just got or whatever's going on, and then shift. I mean, it's not that much different, really, but it is, and I just love listening to this. Everything that goes into production. There was an accident with the bucket of beer and the can. They're doing their perspective shot from below with some glass. Kid's water was never actually in. I mean, face was never actually in the water, but something happened, and the water soaked the camera. So they had to stop, and they only got 4 seconds of footage, but somehow made it work to a way longer scene than that.
That's good editing.
Yeah, Kelly Dixon is a great editor. She is the main editor for all these episodes, and she does
some good editing. That's what that is. That's good editing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
they did on audition have to dunk their heads, but yeah.
But we did see some foreshadowing with Hector, and he sits in a wheelchair-like, chair.
I loved it. I remember the first time I ever saw that scene, I was like, "Oh my God, look at the chair!"
Yeah.
And some more foreshadowing. The injuries that Hank received is similar to the ones that he does receive in Ozymandias.
That's true. Oh, and what was I gonna say about Tio? Shit. In the wheelchair. Oh, instead of a bell, he's got a whistle. He whistles.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Well, not a whistle, but he whistles for the brother who's.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah.
Who's breaking the toy or whatever he's doing, and the one who's gonna get dunked whistles for him to get him cerveza.
But I guess pretty interesting, and we see Hank, and we see Lionel shooting through the back windshield, and we see Hank. He's like, "I don't have a gun. What do I do? Back up." He backs up.
That was great.
Crushes his legs, and backs him up, and then he falls over. Then Marco is still shooting, and he runs out of bullets.
Mm-hmm.
No. He still has wait.
No, he says wait.
No. Hank shoots him, but shoots him in the vest.
Yeah, he shoots him in the vest.
Yeah.
So he shoots Hank. Hank's down on the ground. No.
I mean, if the cousin wasn't that too proud, I think that would have ended Hank right there.
That was a flaw.
Yeah.
Never, that if you're going to be a good criminal, and I am not trying to justify it, but I'm just
trying to give you pointers on how to be a criminal.
Yeah, but the ones that fail, they put emotion into it, and they're not business-like and rational about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we see other people make that mistake.
Yeah.
No, he goes to get the axe, and he's got the axe up like this, which is a big mistake. Although he didn't know that Hank, I'm not so sure he knew that Hank was going to be able to grab that pistol and get that bullet.
I don't think he realized he got it at all.
No. It was interesting. That bullet, the one that he put in his pocket, turned out to be his undoing.
Mm-hmm.
That and the ego.
Yeah, and that great, of course, the great shot which I talked about earlier with him shooting up, and we see the bullet go.
Yeah, and his head just explodes with just amazing makeup effects and all of that.
Yeah, it was. It was a great camera. As I mentioned, it was a great camera angle.
Great angle, fantastic.
Yeah.
But I heard that the sound for the axe scraping across the pavement was added in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it was scripted in too because they wanted that sound. That it just because you can feel how heavy you sound, how you hear how heavy it is. Yeah. Jarring.
Mm-hmm. So
and boy, shiny axes. They have such pretty shiny axes. But he took the business out of it and he added ceremony to it.
Yeah, he made it personal.
He did, yeah.
And
lucky for Hank.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very lucky.
We would have been dead. Because his brother and Tuco and
Mm-hmm. Made it. You don't mix personal with business.
No,
but
not
it's
at all.
interesting because they talked to Luis. How do you feel? Because Luis is done.
Mm-hmm.
But Daniel Moncada he's got one more episode to go, right?
Yeah, he does. They made him live a little bit longer. And then in ICU is when it all comes crashing down.
Oh, it's going to be an excellent episode, too.
Yeah, next you guys want to do next week? It's Mother's Day weekend.
It's fine by me.
Yeah.
Yeah, before it starts flinging the chowder.
It's only the day before.
All right. We'll do next week, man.
But I won't be here in 2 weeks because I'll be at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference.
Yeah.
So it'll be just you and Ellen. It'll be just you and Ellen.
You don't want to do live from the Ohio Conference, Henry?
No, because we're gonna be in the middle of the conference while that's going on. So yeah.
A little adult drinking, right, Henry? That's why you don't want to be on.
But I will certainly be back in time for half measures. Yeah.
You better. I mean,
when's that coming up? Oh God, it's May. The chowder stuff starts this month.
Half measures is going to be June 6th.
Oh yeah.
Full measure will be June 13th.
Yes.
But I talked to the boss down at the restaurant there, and I'm getting myself some Sundays off so I can.
Yeah, we'll probably take a break because
more normal.
Yeah, we're probably going to take a break a month or two off because we did this whole season nonstop.
Yeah, you did it with very little breaks this time. I just don't want to miss anything good, but you know.
Yeah, so after half measures, we'll take a break.
When's that coming up?
June 6th.
What? June 6th?
June 6th, that's what you said. You said that half measures was going to be the
full measures. After full measures.
Oh, full measures.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll take a break.
Full measures is the season finale.
Exactly. So after that, we'll do the break.
Yeah, well, I'm going to miss a few, so I'll have to watch them later and comment.
That's okay.
Swing the chowder.
Yeah, we'll take the break. We might come back. We might come back in time for Better Call Saul.
I was going to say, Ellen, we really appreciate all the insider stuff you've been giving us too.
Well, you guys are going to have it. When do you guys will get the DVD and have all this stuff too?
When it comes on sale.
Yeah, I didn't have to do a lot of hard research. Just put a DVD and took notes. It's fun. It's a labor of love.
I gotta get all those sets. Oh my God, they still got them at Walmart. They still got them at our Walmart.
I think they got the entire set at a Walmart for about $50.
Yeah, that's decent. If they've got that, grab it.
I want to get them. Oh my God, I want to get it.
Yep.
Oh yes.
And then
mine was 44 shipped. Like I said, mine had a little dent in it. If you get which I knew buying it, but if you can get one for 50 in good condition, perfect condition, then go. That's a good deal. But make sure, Henry, there's one box set doesn't include 5B. So if you go for a box set, it's 21 discs and 5B's included, and you can tell the one that doesn't have it because it'll say new episodes air August 11th. No. There should be no new episodes airing. 21 discs. A lot of people get screwed out of that, and they don't have the last 8 episodes, and they thought they were getting it.
I would be pissed if that happened to me.
Because they put it out before 5B was aired. So
I'll go all Hank on that seller that sold me that.
Yep. So I don't think we missed anything on this episode, did we?
We did not miss anything.
A lot of, you know.
Now, we did see Walt cutting the crust off his bread again.
Again.
We did. That makes 3 times. I'm keeping count.
I loved it when Skyler walks in and says, well, I guess crime really does pay.
That
too.
Well,
Walt's like, I didn't just come here just to insult me.
Exactly. I would have been mission accomplished.
This was an epic episode, though. Oh my God,
it was one of the up there's with this season. Wait until we get to half measures and full measures.
Oh yes, that's gonna be the bomb.
What's next week?
Next week is ICU.
ICU, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
But there's some stuff that
after
happens
that?
in ICU. There's some stuff that happens in ICU that is sort of foreshadowing a little bit too.
It is a lot of stuff in ICU, and it's a play on. It's a play on for ICU when one of the cousins see Walt watching him through the door, and then ICU as in intensive care unit.
Intensive care unit, yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, next weekend is what, the 9th? Next Saturday?
Yeah.
And that's ICU?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Kafkaesque would be the 16th?
Yep.
And, oh my God, I have to make it to Fly, 23rd.
You have to.
Oh, Fly, that's a great one too.
That is...
There's a little bit of wackiness on the episode Fly, a little bit of wackiness.
That was the bottle episode.
Oh my God, I have to do Fly. That is the last week I will be around on Saturdays for a while, and I'll miss ABQ and Half Measures and Full Measure.
So it'll be me and Shane then.
It's going to be, I hope you can make it for Half and Full Measures. We would definitely need you on that. Especially the commentary stuff.
I know.
Yeah. Because we get to see that epic speech from Mike. Oh.
Yeah.
I usually don't get home till like, I don't know, 9:30, 10, maybe earlier. It depends. It's actually not going to be a busy time except for Memorial Day weekend.
I might be able to work around your schedule. If you like coming in at 9, we do it at 9. If you come in at 10, we do it at 10.
Hey, we could do that.
You'll never know until it happens. You know,
just shoot me a message on Facebook.
You know, I'd be like, all right, my last table's leaving. I should be home and on and gross.
I can set this thing up in no time.
Yeah.
Henry, I'm sure Henry would be able to do it. I know Henry.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
It's so bad because you never know. Or I mean, I could shoot you a text and say it's not going to happen anytime soon, so go for it.
All right, yeah, that'd be great. You know, just send me a message. But yeah, next week is ICU, which is going to be another great one, another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, ICU has a double meaning. Oh, by the way, 1 minute, Dean was mentioning how he thought that it only pertained, like because when it started open with the young cousins and Tio, Hector, he's like, Hector's saying, how long do you think he can make it? A minute? You know, more or less.
We mentioned that, yes. Before you came on, we mentioned that. Yeah, it had the double meaning, that's right.
Right. And Dean thought, well, that's what that means until he gets to the end of the script, and he's like, oh, wow. And they really tried to make it a minute. Hank does a really great panic.
He does. And I like how it starts out with the cousins and it ends with the cousins.
Yes.
It's like a full circle.
It's usually not a good sign when you go back to seeing them as kids. But
when I saw them as kids, I thought they was going to be little brats.
Well, they are.
They're
big brats. But I thought, because usually if they do that kind of thing, it's spelling out something. They're there for a reason. It's like when we haven't gotten there yet. I won't say that. But in this case, I really thought they were doing it just to show us how these two bonded, how these two could communicate without speaking, and just walk around and do things as if they were two parts of one person.
Yeah.
And how that experience from Hector sealed
it was a nice little backstory they gave us.
Yeah.
It really was, yeah.
Because it told his brother, you don't want your brother dead. In fact, you and your brother are like this. And it was so. And I wasn't thinking, well, maybe this will be the one where they die. Who's going to be able to kill those two?
Yeah. And how about those boots? Those boots that they were wearing? Those are awesome
Wait a
boots.
minute, wait a minute. Now, the one that wanted the brother dead, is that the same one that got shot at the end?
Wait a minute. I
Oh,
think
I don't.
Lionel was
Oh.
the one he was drowning. Marco, but that was Marco that had to punch Tio in the face.
Okay, Marco punched Tio in the face.
So it was Marco's toy, and
Yeah.
he said he wanted his brother dead, and then he's the one to. Yeah.
Yep, that was
But
Marco.
who
Yeah.
died at the end? Marco. Marco died?
Marco was the one that got shot. Yeah,
Okay.
Lionel was the one that got his legs crushed.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was a little foreshadowing right there. It would have been great though
Yeah.
if the one that wanted the one dead actually dies at the end.
I lost. I got lost. I was there
No.
until
The
that.
one,
Okay.
the, the one, Marco wanted Lionel dead. Marco was the one that
Okay.
got shot.
Marco wanted the one to die, Leo to die, and Marco was the
Yes.
one that got shot.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, but he wasn't supposed to die because he was supposed to finish him,
Mm-hmm.
terminarlo, and screwed up. He pulled a Heisenberg. And later, as we'll see in the end of the next season, a Gus.
Yep. Oh, I'm watching Cleveland yeah, that movie right now, and oh my God, it looks great.
I'm recording it for later. I'm
I'm
gonna watch it
DVRing
later.
it right now.
I'm actually watching. They got Dirty Harry movies on AMC today.
But yeah, so next week is I See You, and that's going to be a good one. I like that one.
Oh yeah. But this one, oh my God, this one was great. This one has all kinds of consequences for the future and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll see you here next week with I See You. Good night.